there is a main method in the Frodo demo string demo. Then Frodo variable is pointing Frodo begins. Then it's printing the what Frodo has. So you're gonna see 9 colon some space and Frodo begins is printed. Now string Gandalf is defined. Then Gandalf will get assigned Gandalf the gray. Then when you print it, 12 colon blah, then 12 colon some space Gandalf the gray will be printed. Java is case sensitive, so you have to be careful whenever you have uppercase or lowercase. System dot of the print line and 14 will print Frodo, but there is a problem. There is a line 13, Frodo equals Gandalf. That means this is a copy reference. Frodo is actually not getting the what real object. It is just getting what Gandalf is having as a memory address. So now Gandalf the Grey is just one object. Now it has two names. Frodo is pointing the same object and Gandalf is also pointing the same object. Then when you print Frodo, now it is printing Gandalf the Grey. Frodo and Gandalf are having the same memory address, so they will say equal as true. So it's going to print this one, 16, and Frodo has the same reference as Gandalf. Then Frodo and Gandalf has the same content too. So when you use equals method, it will also say true. So line 18 will be also printed. Frodo is still pointing the Gandalf the gray object. So the length will be 14. Then when you print the length, it's going to print 14. Frodo is now go back to the Frodo begins. So Frodo is not pointing the Gandalf the Grey anymore. Now this one is pointing new one. So this link becomes ghost, not anymore. This one is now pointing with the string with Frodo begins. How about the Gandalf? Gandalf is not pointing Gandalf the Grey anymore. Gandalf is now pointing just to Frodo, but that is also new string. So whenever you use a double quote, Java will make new string object. Now you can see this Gandalf the Grey became totally ghost. Can we access this one again? Never. You can never come back to this object. There's no way, no link is connected. All the links are broken. So this one is actually in your memory, but you cannot access that anymore. Let's think about how to use compare to method. Compare to method is comparing the first object and passing argument object. Then I can say first object is me. If me is bigger, it will return positive integer. If me is smaller, it will return negative integer. So you can think about compare to as a minus. First one minus the second one. And when you compare two string, the string is comparing letter by letter. Then something is always bigger than nothing. So let's see. Currently, Frodo is pointing Frodo begins. Gandalf is pointing Frodo. So F is the same. R, O, O, D, O, O. Then nothing versus uppercase B. In that case, nothing is smaller. So Gandalf is smaller. That means it will return a negative integer. So the first if statement is true. So line 27 will be printed. Now, I is defined indifferently. I is assigned with a different value. Now it's comparing Frodo and Frodo. So same thing. That means when you subtract, return zeros. So if I is 0, that is true. So line 30 will be printed. Then this time, Frodo that compared to Gandalf. So Frodo is bigger, so it's going to return positive integer. So line 33 will be also printed. Print and print line is different. Print ln means print line. So after you print the current one, then it moves to the next line. But if you have a print, after it prints the following things, then the cursor stays on the same line. It does not move to the next line. So when you print something, then print again, the next one will come to next to the previous string, previous content you print. So line 35, Frodo the substring 7, if you have only one number in the substring method, that means starting from that number to the end. And starting is inclusive, so I use the square bracket. If you use two numbers, you're gonna assign start and end. But one thing remember, starting is inclusive, but ending is not inclusive. So 36 is printing only GGI, 7, 8, 9, but not 10. Now 37, after you print 37 and some space, then you're going to wait because it is a print. Then in the for loop, it is printing substring I, I plus 1. In that case, I is inclusive, but I plus 1 is not inclusive. So each time it will print only one character. So after 37, F, R, space O, space D, space O. Like this way, it will be printed. Then it goes to next line. If you want to jump just the next line, you are going to print L and then just a parenthesis. That means you are going to give a space, like a double line. Next one is 41 space, then it's going to print by using char add. It's going to print one character by one character too. So you can see there are two ways to print character by character. You can use substring or you can use a character add. Next one is line 46 here. Now, Frodo has some space with asterisk and another space and Frodo backend. So when you print 47, it's gonna print all the spaces too. How about the 48? Whenever you do trim method, it removes the white space, extra white space before and after. However, it's not going to remove inside of the space. So between asterisk and F, between asterisk and S will still there. But from the beginning space to asterisk will be gone because of the trim method. Now Frodo has Frodo begins, Frodo begins, Frodo begins 3 times. Then line 50, Frodo the index of I will start from the beginning, find I, then first I's index number will be returned, that is 9. If you want to find the index of substring, like I's, if you're going to find ICE, the subset, but I cannot find ICE, in that case, it will return -1. That means it could not find it. When you use index of a method with finding target with a number, that means you are going to decide the starting index. So it's going to start from index 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. Start searching from the first D. Then search it, then it will return the index number of I. Index number does not restart from 0. Index is always the same as 9 for the I, so it will print 9. Last index of means it's going to search backward, so starts from the end of the string. Then ICE is not there, so it will return -1. Line 54. So string Tom Bombadil will have Tom Bombadil. Then you can also use 2 uppercase and 2 lowercase method. 2 uppercase will change the whole string as uppercase. If it's already uppercase, stay as uppercase. Then 2 lowercase will change it to the lowercase and return the all lowercase. But you need to remember that When you print Tom Bombomil original is not changed. Original is still have lowercase Tom, uppercase B, and Bombadil. Next page number 1. What is the difference between equal and that equals? From the Java 8, equal also compare the content, but basically equal is defined for checking reference versus reference or primitive type. In the primitive type, for example, int x equals 5. In that case, primitive type is storing the value directly to the variable. But like a string, the class type, str, equals high. Actually, this str will not have the high directly. It's going to point the object, then that object will have high. So this string itself will have like something address of the memory, not real value. We call that as reference, object, or instance. Number 2, what does that compare to return and what does it mean? That compare to returns integer. It compares me with other. Me that compared to past other. But both must be comparable type. Me and other must be comparable type because the compare to method is actually defined in the comparable interface. Me, other are comparable type. String is actually comparable types. So string implements a comparable interface. If you don't remember now, it's okay. Number 3, what is the difference between substring with 1 argument and substring with 2 arguments? With 1 argument means a number means substring over from the number to the end. Then 2 argument means like A and B. That means it starts from A but ending with B minus 1. What is the relationship between char add and index of? Char add means return the character, add index. So index is input, character is output. Index of is return index of the character or string. So input type is character or string, but output type is index number. So this is also what we have in our answer sheet. So equal compares the memory location. That equals compare the values of string because that equals is defined in the string class. Then number 2, what does the compare to return? It returns 0 when both are equal. It returns positive when the first one is me, first one is bigger. Returns negative when the first one is smaller. Then also you can see uppercase got the value first. So Java defined uppercase first, then lowercase. So that means uppercase A has a lower number than lowercase a. Also, uppercase Z has a lower number than lowercase a. Then A got the number first, so A is smaller than C. So when you remember this. Number 3, what is the difference between substring? I already explained at the beginning, I think. You can read it. Then number 4, char add. Argument is an index, returns a char. Argument is char or string, returns an index.